Hey guys, Shikariferrarii here, hope you're doing well, and welcome to my review of Dark Souls 3. I'll just go through what I like and what I'm not too keen on. If you check it out, thanks very much and I hope you enjoy. And I thought I'd just mention, as you can see from the title of this video, I am a newbie to Dark Souls. I have never played one of them before. I've been aware of them of course and how the reputation they've got for being really hard and stuff. But I picked up this particular one because of Jim Sterling's recommendation from his most recent gym acquisition, thank God for him. And yeah, he just basically says the motto, prepare to die, is kind of a bit redundant. Like, the game tells you its rules and what enemies can do and what you can do, and it's a great challenge but there's great reward, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I usually, every single game I get, I do usually play it on the hardest difficulty I can. Not because I want to be a hardcore gamer, yeah, like just to show off. It's because I like to get the most out of the games that I buy. So I play it on the hardest difficulty to basically just get more hours out of the game. So yeah, so here's the things I like about Dark Souls 3. So combat in Dark Souls has to be spot on because it's one of those games where if it fails, the whole game fails. And Dark Souls doesn't disappoint with a massive variety of weapons to choose from swords, axes, staves. I mean, you can there's so many combinations you can choose with the class you pick also. Like two-handed weapons, shields, talismans and staves to buff your character, heal your character, or just do massive amount of damage. Yeah, depending what class you choose, like with a knight I'm using at the moment in one of my playthroughs, I've got a big two-handed sword, and that just does massive amount of damage but kind of leaves me open to heavy attacks. So I have a shield on the other hand from time to time with the single sword. So yeah, just so much variation to choose from. The combat controls are smooth and responsive, and the easiest way I got through this game was actually just reading the enemy's attack patterns and waiting for openings to strike. So, and different weapons obviously work differently. So spears, you can get a lot more range, but you're probably not going to do as much damage. So basically, that's the easiest advice I could give really, is you just got to watch what each enemy can do and you can just plow right through them. The only difficulty I have now is actually with mini bosses and the big main bosses now. I can pretty much handle anything I can run into in the game, except for maybe the new enemy. Then I've got to learn what their attacking patterns are like. So that's my first point. On to the next one. Point number 2 for me, I'd say, has to go for the environment and just the scope of the game. So I agree with some people that Dark Souls isn't the best looking game, but I really don't think graphics make a great game anymore. Some of these indie games with low res graphics play fantastically, and as I've said, Dark Souls does play fantastically. And playing this game and just going through the different environments like graveyards to castles to haunted forests, and just giving this feeling that this world was once alive but now is long dead and rotten. And I think one of the best parts of the game is looking on into the distance to an area you've already been and just thinking, I've walked from here to there. And being in these environments makes me want to explore each area, as that's the main thing how you get through this game. You got to explore to pick up items to help you along your way, with multiple pathways to choose from, secrets, discovering mini bosses who can drop powerful loot, and much more. I am still playing this game, so I am really interested in what I'm going to stumble across next. And my final point is for variations of bosses and enemies. And just some of these enemy designs are things of nightmares. There have been many times now where I've squealed in terror and bolted in the other direction. From skeletons to zombies, knights, giants, and other things I can't begin to describe. Every single enemy in this game has the potential to ruin your day. And as I've said, it's all about knowing their attack patterns and knowing when to attack and when not to. There will definitely be some times in the game where certain enemies are too hard for you at that moment, and instead choosing to farm and explore the area around you to level up and then kick the living daylights out of it. Other things I like in the game, I like the encounters you get with other human players that invade your world. I've had a few people that have tried to kill me. I managed to fend some of them off. It gets your heart racing, so yeah, that's good fun. I'm really impressed with the amount of classes to choose from the start of the game. I got 2 playthroughs at the moment. My first one's a knight and my other one's an assassin. And just seeing how these 2 different types of classes play definitely changes up the game. And just the amount of replay value this game is giving. That's 10 playthroughs. So I'm really impressed about that. And the armor pieces and weapons designs are really nice to look at. So that's it for things I like about Dark Souls. On to the stuff that I'm not too keen on. Just for me personally, if you like the way it is, then that's great. But here's just the things that I find a little bit weak in the game. So my first point for this section, the co-op isn't great. What I mean by that is there's no dedicated co-op mode. And the game doesn't even tell you how to get into co-op. I had to look up online how to get into co-op with my mate. So it's very vague and confusing. And when you actually get into your mate's world, if you die, you go back to your world. And if the host dies, you get kicked back to your world as well. So I just don't get why there's no dedicated co-op. Basically 2, 3, 4 player co-op mode where you can just roam around with your friends permanently and just have the game increase in difficulty. And also leave the option for people to invade, because I think 3 or 4 people going against each other, I think that'd be really good fun. But just the way it stands, I don't like it. Not being able to use bonfires, you can't regain your healing potions. It just kind of sucks the fun out of it and it makes you want to stick to single player. And the only really good reason for using co-op is to defeat the bosses. The shop menus suck. You can't even compare your items when buying things, so you have to memorise your stats of your armour and your weapons before buying something, because you can't do it within the menu in the shop. And I think that's just, what were they thinking? But the weird thing is when you actually have a weapon or a piece of armour in your inventory, you can see the stats. So blue is good, red is bad. But when you go to the shop, it's not there. I mean, I just don't get it. Why not take that aspect and have it in the shop menu? So yeah, you can muck up quite easy by buying an item that you think that's going to be good, and it ends up being worse, because you haven't read the stats right. So that's a really annoying thing. So just 2 main points that kind of annoy me really. Just other nitpicky things I can think of. Items that run out in your slot stay in there. I wish there was an option to kind of like choose whether it stays or not, because in the midst of the battle you want to use your health potion, you're sieving through the ones that are just run out, and then you end up getting killed because you're too busy trying to flick through all of it. Again, just a nitpick really. And one last thing, the story's kind of put in the background. Maybe it's because I'm new to Dark Souls, I'm not really too sure what's going on, but there's no like established plot line. It kind of seems like you're here to kill all these creatures basically, and that's it. Kind of like Shadow of the Colossus type of thing. But again, maybe it's because I'm a new player and I'm not too sure what the world is or something like that. So yeah, I just feel like the story is pushed into the background, and you have to make your own assumptions of what's gone on, what's happened basically, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. Overall, I really enjoy it. I highly recommend it for anyone who's kind of got a bit bored of the first person shooter kind of variety and they want something new and something challenging, because I do emphasise it is a challenge. You're gonna die a lot, but it's whether you get back up and you go and kick the arse of what killed you and just plough through it all. You just get better and better. You just need to learn from your mistakes in the game, and you should be fine. So if you're still watching, thanks very much. I'll be doing plenty more video game reviews and also film and TV. I've got Better Call Saul, How They Could Do It episode coming up soon. Yeah, so leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you guys want, and I'll see you guys in the next one.